Here, Mayan. I'm gonna say here, Mayan. What's going on in the hood? Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow. I am Randy and I am Tunde. What up? What up? What up? All right, cool. Let me make sure everybody gets in okay. And then we fucking rage. Then we rage. I am Tunde and I am Tunde. Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow. What up? What up? What up? All right, everybody ready to roll? Fucking night, man. Hey, D-Money, what's up? What's going on? Woo, it's hot as a mother. Yeah, it is a little spicy here. Yeah, DD, I saw that. Hold on, let me make sure everybody gets in okay. Start a couple minutes earlier than we normally do. Hey, so everybody in? Cool. All right, let's fucking party. Let's party. DD, what's up, baby? That's nice. That's a good, solid Southern name, right? That's a good, solid Southern name right there. Daryl Davis. See, Daryl Davis, like that's a good name because like that's a versatile name. Like you could be, you could be playing for the Auburn football team, or you could be like an ice trucker and nobody would know. You just got that kind of epic name. Where like Canal Desai is, I mean, there's only a couple things I could be, right? Like a mathematician, a doctor, or a day trader. There's really only a couple things we could be. Maybe a jeweler, but we don't got much else. Hey, Christine, what's up? All right, cool. Everybody ready? Look, we got flat day on the market yesterday after the big flush on Friday. So the Friday flush kind of caught us all a little bit off guard. I mean, there was time to get loose on the short side, but it definitely was, I would say the depth of the drop was, I think, a little bit surprising. I kind of thought maybe around here we might be able to catch a little bounce, but because we had used up the ATR and then we still did a flushy McGee into the close. And then we had classic for shit inside day on yesterday. So after you get a big range day, it's very, very common to have an inside day. An inside day just means like you're going to have a tight, narrow range day, basically inside the previous day's range. And, we did peek around it maybe for like a hot second, but in general, we stayed in. And it was not an easy one. You could see the open had a couple double Lutsies, a couple Fugazis. Some people will say the market was grinding, ranging, whatever, but it was a bitch. And now we're kind of opening up into, right, this kind of levels of support, and we'll see what's going on. I think we just got to look at this as a box. And we also have to be cognizant that we have, I believe, the FOMC in the mañanas. And so, we may get slightly a little bit more chop, but I do think that we're going to get some movement at the open at least. People will start to position themselves into the FOMC, and then we may kind of just chop around into the close. But overall, my hope was that we kind of gapped up a little bit so that we could fade this thing against the 50-day moving average. But right now, if the bulls do not take back these MAs right here, then, we've got this kind of tight range that could start to, right, coalesce into something else. And look, I mean, I just drew this line here, but that line doesn't really mean anything, right? In general, trend lines is like, like back in the day before Uber, you had like a couple beers and you had to go home and you try to stay in between the lines. that's kind of that's kind of what trend lines are. If you close your eye and wink hard enough, you can see one everywhere. And so maybe that's a trend line, maybe it's not. Who knows? But it sure makes me feel smart, like when I draw them, like fucking Picasso over here. So we've got this levels. I think we got to watch around this kind of zone. We don't have an exact level from yesterday, but we have like a little bit of zones of support, right? That we can kind of trade around, and we'll see what's up. The market itself is in, I would say, a little bit of distribution. You could see the kind of volume is higher on the red days of recent than the up days. Now, it's not a long-term distribution, but we've seen, at least for quite a little bit of time, that we're starting to get in a little distribution action. And so these are things to just be wary of, right? The SPY looks the same as the Qs. It just moves around a little bit less, but we were under the MAs. We had an inside day on Friday. Like this is going to be tricky. If we hold those lows, then, we may boost back up into here. And, if we break down, then all of a sudden things are going to be, I think a little bit more tricky. So we'll see what's going on. We need to really be careful today with the FOMC and all this stuff here. Like, do we really want to sit there? Do we really want to sit there and pound the rock on a boring day? If you look at even how many gappers there are, that's usually a good sign if there's like good market activity. When you only see like shit like this popping, right? Like that's, it's telling you that there's a slow market. Avengers, like this is popping up. Look, this is untradeable. You boost it up for like a candle and then you pop down, boost up for a candle. Then you got fucking, your balls chopped off here, and then you gap up, and this is like a sucker's gap probably. You don't want to really sit there and do this stuff. Like this candle here, right here, that's what breaks up marriages. That's what breaks up marriages. Like this candle right here breaks up marriages. You're sitting there and like, oh man, hey wife, how was your day? Well, I was doing my thing. I follow my rules. I was buying something at the VWAP, right? I was minding my own business. And then you get a candle like this, right? And you got 10,000 shares or 5,000 shares. Boom. Like your stop loss probably not even hitting on this thing. That's the type of stuff that gets you stuck in therapy, right? And then now you're paying double. It's like you just took the losses on your trading. Now you're sitting there at a couples retreat therapy, and your wife is sitting there like, well, he keeps telling me this VWAP indicator is really something important and he knows what he's doing. And you're sitting there thinking like, well, Kunal told me it really was important. And then I'm sitting there going, I told you motherfuckers not to trade small caps, right? Now you're trying to blame me because your wife has been playing little kissy face with the guy next door, fucking Hot Eddie, Fast Eddie, that guy. You try to blame me for that? No, you can't blame me for that. You can only blame this VWAP here and the fact that you traded this turd, right? When you're sitting there, and you watch your life fall apart and Fast Eddie's getting in on your cookies, I mean, you're going to remember who warned you to stay away from this stuff, all right? Don't ever let a guy named Fast Eddie even near your kids, near your house, near your swimming pool. He's leaving a deposit there, from the hanky-panky he's doing. So just stay away. Look at this fucking shit, right? Turd. Space Mobile. Dude, I have a soft spot for this just because of the name, like Space Mobile. I can't believe this thing is not something. Dude, you're going to space. You also have mobile. So it's mobile in space, right? That's like a fucking no-brainer. How is this thing not something more? I didn't see the news on this, but this looks like a sucker's gap, really a couple 100,000 shares, right? The stock's in heavy distribution. Got to leave it alone. Hey, this APLS was a little bit more of a swing trade setup. You could see here, right? Like you're starting to come out of range here. This thing was $19, but now you're starting to come out of range. You're gapping up again on this bad boy. Like I would trade this. Like it actually, look, it gapped up a couple days ago. Let me get rid of this fucking pink line here. It gapped up a couple days ago, and we sometimes just forget about these bad boys because they're just too easy almost. But right, like you gapped up a couple days ago, you pulled back into 9, and you had this nice little shredder here. So it does got range, and you gotta A little bit of a trender yesterday, and I'm gapping up again. I think you still got a little bit of room to go. I'd add this, like this is probably going to be easier to trade than banging it with, trying to hammer Tesla or something. I've noticed in the chat room of recent is just, sometimes we miss the easy plays to play the familiar plays, right? And we should always just be mindful, like these are just tickers, right? The familiar is just the familiar, but in the end, tickers are tickers, and we got to trade what's hot, right? You're only as good as the stocks that you trade. All right, so you see no gappers. Look at this. Look at this shit. And we're not in earnings season, so you're not going to see much here. Like this STLA is untradeable. And the reason it's untradeable is, look, it's got a 40-cent ATR, right? There's three numbers that you need to keep on your intraday charts, guys. You need to keep the ATR. Then you need to keep the ATR percentage. So you can actually see the ATR in percentage terms, like this stock move 5% a day, 10% a day, 15% a day, so on and so forth. And then I would put in a 5-minute ATR. Why the 5-minute ATR? The 5-minute ATR, if you're a scalper, for example, or you have scalper-like tendencies, if you're trading a stock with a 2-cent 5-minute ATR, can you do any scalping? If it moves 2 pennies every 5 minutes, can you do any scalping? Not really, right? And that's why a lot of scalpers play Tesla and NVIDIA and stuff, because, when you get the 5-minute ATR, right, it's 50 cents. And usually it's like $1 at the open. And you're right, like NVIDIA, right? You get a 70-cent ATR of 5 minutes. You can do a lot more scalpy McGee's on certain names. I think that's important. You got to always understand what kind of trader you are. If you're very scalpy McGee, then you need a high 5-minute ATR. Otherwise, you're going to see these breakout setups, and then it's just going to go up like a penny or two, and you're sitting there going, huh? Why am I in this thing, right? What's taking so long? And so kind of always be just a little bit mindful of those things. Now, let's get back into this a little bit here. All right, Riot, Junk, CCL, Suckers, Gab. Look at this, Truist Securities. I think Truist used to be BB&T, right? BB&T is not an investment bank. BB&T is like you go there, old ladies go there and drop off, right, their bingo money. The fucking Truist upgrades Carnival to hold from sale. I think that's probably a nothing burger. Not all analyst upgrades are equal, right? Like the other day when Morgan Stanley upgraded Tesla, right? And that guy put out this like 30-page report on why Tesla could go to 400. That's a proper upgrade, because if you're going to pump something, right, you want to fill it with a lot of pages in the report so that nobody reads it, but we think it's substantial, right? That's a Truist upgrade. Like there's nobody at Truist that can write 40 pages. Like that's garbaggio. So leave that alone. Mara gapping up 40 cents, but look, this thing is sitting at the 200-day moving average. In any other given market, right? So there's different types of market. In any other given market, I would say we try to long this thing against the 200, because you got like this big trend and then this pullback, right? But the market's just too slow. So like these kind of MA bounces, they're not necessarily holding very well. And it could just sit there at the 200 SMA for a while, like many more days, right? Usually what'll happen, and this is when it picks aside, when that 9 EMA, like, see how it's like, see the descent of it? It's about like 10, 15 cents a day. As it keeps, like, you got to always use your imagination a little bit. So what happens is, as this thing, right, is kind of just drifting lower and lower and lower like that, at some point as this is going sideways, there's nowhere else to go except this way or that way. It's like a pimple. You just squishing in, and you're squishing in, and right? Out one end it goes. If you remember your high school days, I was a very oily kid. I'm Indian. I got a lot of testosterone. Excessive testosterone means excessive oil, right? So, I grew up popping these bad boys, and that's how you got to look at a stock. Let it squeeze, 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 squeeze. And we're almost getting there, but we're not there just yet. Unless 720, I don't know. Evan, why is this thing 720? What the fuck? Oh, you're right. That ain't right. I don't know. Evan made it. And there's a button for it to keep it at HD. I'm not sure. I'll ask him next time. All right, so junk. Hey, now this one is interesting. So IONQ is an analyst day today. So you're sitting here on the 50-day moving average. It's got an analyst day today. Now, stocks have often been dumping after these analyst days. So we'll see. I would keep an eye at this low here. If the analyst day goes bad and it breaks down, then you're going to probably get another flushy. But you're really at a prime time position here to bounce. Like, as long as they don't see anything stupid, you're sitting there. You're sitting there right at that 50-day moving average. Like you can go in and shred that bad boy. Let's see. This is like actually a good spot. Like we need to just see which way it opens, and we'll be able to get ourselves a little bit of a shredder. I am Rande and I am Tande. Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow. Yeah, I'm not sure why that thing is 720, but I'll talk to Evan about it. Might have gotten a little bit loose. Might have gotten a little bit loose with those settings. All right, cool. Let's go on with this. Yeah, let's add this. I think this is going to be something today. I think we're going to, usually these analyst plays, they've been cooking on those days, usually to the downside, but we'll see what's up. Let's add it. Oxy. Oxy looks to me like, obviously oil's been really flying, right? The oil's been on a big Bojangles here. It's a huge run. And so this Oxy's been sitting here. To me, this is a little bit of a swing trade setup. Like, I don't know if you can necessarily day trade this. It just doesn't have the ATR. You're at $1 and some change. Like, that's not gonna, I don't know if that's gonna be worth it, right? So let's probably keep that one. Let's keep that one a no-go. All right, let's see what else we got here. Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow. Let's see on the downside, we got any dirty little stocks with news. RKLB, Rocket Lab, USA mission launch encounters issue. We'll postpone next mission, revised guidance. That don't sound good, does it? This company's probably already got some problems. You're 2.5. This is probably easy to borrow too. The ATR is going to be enough. And you can already tell probably somebody knew about this. It's got good enough liquidity. You got 2 million shares today. And this, I don't like trading small caps, as you guys know, but this is a $2.5 billion company. It's got to be pretty liquid. It's got a 300 million shares float, so it's not like a death sentence. Let's add that. What do you think? Cool. Equinox. Equinox slips after hours. It raises 150 million. So this is, it's an offering, right? So you got 150 million. It's a $1.5 billion company. So you did 10% offering. It's down about 10%, give or take. Not much heat there. FFIE, Faraday Electric. This thing is like AMC. It's probably, right, just dripped into zero. They're going to keep reverse splitting it. They pump it for a couple days and it just rolls back over. This is probably just this is a zero. Now this is interesting, right? So NIO launches $1 billion convertible offering. So it's about, so they're raising some cash. So this thing is getting dusted, XPEV is still holding up here. I think the better play would be if that thing really dumps to see if, what happens with this XPEV. It's been really in a sweet spot here. Like, does it actually push through? Does it break down? I like the overall long-term look of this. It's just the problem on this is what? You know what the big hairy butt on this is? What's the big hairy Indian butt on this? Da-da-da-dun, da-da-da-dun, Bella Jam, Bella Jam. Yeah, the big hairy Indian bought on this is that this particular type of setup is just not, it's not following through right now. Like you just don't have this kind of setup is so hot in a hot market. In this market, we're starting to see like these like really, really good basing patterns. They've been dumping off. And so I think that's something probably we just stay away from. I know. It's nice. I'd love to shred this thing. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Mm-hmm. All right, TLT, chunk. Hey, this arm is getting dusted again, right? So it said 2 days of flush. I actually believe, my guess is on the IPO day, they were saying it was going to open up at 51. On the IPO day, they were saying it was going to open up at about 51. If this drops one more day, like it flushes up at the open, you get this thing near 51, that'd be 3 days of pullback at probably a key mental level, right? That 51. We can bounce this thing near 51. It's a very tricky trade. Bouncing is always the hardest trade. The easiest trades are what? Trend trades, right? Bouncing's a little bit tricky. Yeah. I know. Let's fucking Bella ciao. All right, so what I want you to do is just take, right, when it gets to like about 52, set an alert, maybe a little bit higher than 52. I want to watch this thing, see if it gets a little bit of traction around that price. So let it flush up at the open, set an alert. If it starts to marinate around that level, then we got a chance of probably coming hot on this thing and shred. Shane. SQ. Look at this thing. Hold on here. Look at this thing. This thing's a nasty little breakdown. I think you're on day 4 of the move, so the overall, like it's going to be a little bit trickier. But this is something on your longer term shorts, longer term lists, everyday lists you should put down. This stock is one of the few stocks that's like of the large cap techs that's breaking down like this. Any kind of bounces on this, we want to take this thing down. Like send an alert at about 51 if it retests here. You can never short. You don't want to chase down a short on a day 4 of the move if it gaps down. So you can have 4 down days, but you usually need a green open. If it's a day 4, you need a green open. If it's a big red open where like you see the ATR is 1.92, you're using 75% of the ATR on a day 4, you're probably going to bounce off at the open. So that's why, a lot of times people are like, how do you know like when the gap's going to fill or when the gap follows through to the downside? A simple way to think about it is it a day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4? Day 1s and day 2s, the momentum follows usually with the gaps. And day 3, day 4s, as you get extended, you do more of a rubber band setup, and then you're more likely to come back and fill the gaps. It's just something to kind of be mindful of. When you're trading breakouts, breakdowns, or any stocks, always keep in the back of your head, am I doing a day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5? Because the parameters of how you're actually going to change it vastly change. And you will see a direct impact in your results if you tweak your setups depending on, right, how extended a stock particularly is. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. Look at PayPal too. Whoa, look at this Unity. Hey, Unity had some news out yesterday and considers overhauling new price hike. So they did some price hike and then everybody got fucking pissed off. Now they're saying, hey, we're thinking maybe we won't do it. You can't fall for that usually. So we got a level here at 33, 32. If this loses this, I think we actually do a day 2 short on this. You got basically a big giant bear flag on this. Let's add this to the list. That one's got a good chance. Disney's potential sale of India streaming TV extracts, interest from Reliance Industries. Hey, so if you want to add the ATR to your toolbar, just hit this new button and then type in indicator PCF and then do ATR parentheses 10 and then see it says time frame. So if you want to do 5 minute, you do the 5 minute. If you want to do the daily, do the daily. And then, you know, just name it ATR, hit OK. You can hit test if you want to make sure it works. Then you hit OK. And then what you want to do is edit toolbar, hit the plus button, and then just type in ATR, and you got all your ATRs there. And then you can add it and move it around in there. Does that make sense? Cool. Hey, guys, I don't have my trade exchange up. What's up with Disney? What was the news on this? Anybody see it? Let me share. Hold on. I'm on laptop life, so I never get. I got to keep some of my stuff closed. Yeah. I'm gonna be in Italy for another month or two, give or take. When it cools down in Florida, I'm heading home. But you don't want to be in Florida in 100-degree heat. You ever wonder why people in Florida act so fucking crazy, right? I think it's got to be that heat. It's got to be. It's like people get weirder and weirder. Let me see what's up with this Disney. Disney unveils plan to spend $60 billion on parks business over 10 years. That does not sound good. And you got breakout, breakdown, pullback. You might be able to trade this. This one doesn't have much range. Personally, I'd take a pass on it. All right, so nothing that hot, guys. Let's go back into some stocks I think are going to be good for day 2s. So mRNA had big flush yesterday, nasty down day, right? It looks like it got triggered on some insider selling. I'm watching this level right here. It goes back a little bit. I think if we lose like yesterday's lows and then see you got the support right here, if we can build under there, this is just one down day so far. If we can build under there, I think we've got a day two play on that. Add that. I've got, if we need a short here, the CCL, you got a spot at 15. If it can lose that, it's got a lot of room to fall. You can see this was one of the kind of the hot spring stocks, 8 to 19. That's a lot for a $20 billion shitty cruise line, right? The only people going on Carnival cruise lines are Indians, right? We're the ones that are always looking for the deals, but Carnival is no good. You're stuck with all the Indians, right? We're all looking for the free pizza, the free ice cream. We don't share buffets, us Indians. You go to a buffet, there's an Indian family in front of you. You might be standing in line 10, 15 minutes while they sit there, nitpick at everything. Then they're going to ask the people that work at the buffet, like, hey, can you make this with beans, right? Because, you know, some of us are vegetarians. Hey, can I get the beans with this? And you're like, what? It's a pepperoni pizza. Yeah, can I get the beans with it, please? And then, so we're hogging up the pizza buffet line. You know, we got asking everything for beans. Next thing you know, we're shooting to the ice cream buffet. You're sitting there going a nice romantic walk with your wife. You're like, oh, let's get a little ice cream, maybe a little gelato. You got a whole pack of Indians in front of you, right? Looking for that free ice cream. And then they're all asking questions too, like, hey, can I get this in a mango flavor? And you're like, what? This is Carnival Cruise Line. We've got, you know, chocolate and vanilla. And they're like, you don't got a mango? And then they're getting all upset because there's no mango flavor. right? Can I get a mango lassi? No, no, this is not an Indian buffet. This is just a chocolate vanilla one. And then you're going to go on and on. You don't even want to, you don't even want to roll with that. Pot stocks rolled over. These things are done. Pot stocks stink anyways. TRI rolled over. I think every pop you probably try to fade this ACB. Got to. Pot stocks, the worst stocks to trade are pot stock. They do have their day in the sun like every year for a couple days. There's no getting around that. But I mean, if you're trying to make money on people that smoke pot, like people that smoke pot don't got any money. That's why they smoke pot all day. So it's just like it's a catch-22, right? You try to make money on potheads. Potheads don't got money. They don't even shower. Now all of a sudden, you're trying to make money off these people, be billion-dollar companies. Come on. That don't make no sense. I short this on every pop now. CGC already rolled over. That's why I think this ACB is about to, crack-a-lack. Look, this thing's already been cut in half. TRY got the nasty done to it. Right, TRY got the nasty done to it. I am Randy, and I am Tandy. Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao. Add these things. We can short these on all bounces. We got Rocket Cock, Unity, 3275 alert, CGC, ACB. These are secondary plays, right? mRNA is a good play, though. Let's add that. Now, let's look at some of the big boys here real quick. Right? Tesla's got a nice kind of orderly pullback. I think one more pullback. It may need to fill this gap here. Right? You got 60 to 257. Let it fill this gap here, and I think we'll have a nice kind of reward to risk. What it's essentially doing is kind of building out its third tap, right? So you got 1, 2, right? And then it's going to kind of maybe be the 3 if the market firms up. So it should look something along that end. So it still needs like another month before you can actually do a bigger breakout, but you're getting there. It had some well-placed news yesterday too. I think Goldman put out a note on it, and that took this bad boy down. I don't think we got along in this today. This is a daily trader, but it looks heavy as fuck. I think it fills that gap. NVIDIA had a big $20 bounce. Oh, bastard. I wanted to hit this on the green to red or to pop into, one of these zones here. Let's see if this thing, hopefully it goes red to green. We want to kind of hit this thing somewhere 445, 450. I think we take this bad boy down. It had a little bit of a relief bounce yesterday because it broke below the lower Bollinger Band. But in general, like it looks really nasty, right? AMD had a little bit of a bounce here, but I think this was just a relief bounce because it just came into support. May need another day, but it also looks like it's got a date with the 200-day moving. That's a nasty looking thing, right? Meta, after that big down day, got a relief bounce. We'll see, right? A little bit of a relief bounce on the inside day. So all these big caps, you want to roll with this. Whoever just asked about the options or cryptos, you don't want to trade cryptos right now. Options you could trade every single day, and you can make the returns are bigger, right? You can have 50, 100% day trades when you do options. Cryptos, you got to be in like that once every 3-year market cycle to do that. Cryptos is, I don't even have any money in my crypto accounts right now. It's dead in them. They'll come back probably about a year from now, maybe into the new year. What's usually when it's slow one year, it picks up the next year. That's usually how those things go. But when they're slow, there's nothing to do. And the commissions are super high, and there's not that many brokers to trade from. I think you leave it alone for now. I think the best out of the group is still Google, but it's like just kind of grinding along, right? This is when you see markets like this, there's almost no good setups, right? Do you guys see like about 2 months ago in June, right? 2 months ago in June, right? When the market's doing this, man, every stock looked like a breakout. Every stock looked beautiful, right? And you had all these things going. Now, what do you notice happen? You get breakout setups, and they start to fade, right? Like, see this breakout? Boom, fades, right? And you had this beautiful breakout setting up on this the other day, and then Boom, it gets rubbed, right? It had even an upgrade yesterday. Boom, gets rubbed. This thing is probably going to fade, right? You remember everybody is a couple weeks ago watching that epic flag on, Rivian, and then, right, popped up, and then boom, you get this red candle. So that's telling you that there's distribution happening in the markets, that what's good is bad, what's bad is good, essentially. So this is not the time to really press. This is not the time to take any swing trades. I take 0 swing trades right now, and it's not the time to press your plays. You want to be in a handful of these kind of trender names. You can day trade these things back and forth, but you don't have, like, I think Affirm, I think App is a really nice one here. Like, I got both of these on my list for today, right? You had a little bit of a breakdown, but these were like, see, they're following through because they had news out. See this gap here? It had earnings out. Their earnings were digested well. And so this is following through. No long-term holding in cryptos at all. None. Not even some fucking Bitcoin. It's too expensive. Who wants to pay $25,000 for an imaginary coin? Crypto had a bright future, man, but all those brokers, once they started stealing from people, when the brokers steal from everybody, there's not much you can do. They fucking ruined it. All right, let's get back into this. All right, let's talk about the faves, right? I think we got to add IONQ to the 6 windows. We want to fade any pops in NVIDIA, AMD. ARM, we want to bounce it if it gets to 51. Tesla's a daily trader, mRNA. I want you to add in IONQ, right? You got analyst day today. mRNA, if it builds under that level. And guys, I would consider these all B- setups. These are all what we call 50-cent setups. They're scalpy McGee's. There is no hot heat today, right? You got the FOMC tomorrow. You're not in earnings season right now. These are all 50-cent setups. When I call something a 50-cent setup, I mean literally, if you get 50 cents out of it, you should be fucking happy, right? And so you get a scalp, and you can still rip good days, but it's harder. It's not going to be as easy. They're all 50-cent setups. You got to take a few of them and go. Watch this Groupon. For those of you guys that don't mind a little bit thinner stock, this one's got some news up from an activist investor, and it's got some nice heat on it. Not like a very liquid name, so you can't get much size in it. But I do think that's going to go. And then if we need another short besides mRNA, this fucking Target is French, had this nasty bear flag breakdown. I think, you get under this 118.50. Look, on this one, you probably would have to trade. I think you'd probably have to trade the options on them because it moves too slow, but the options will be fast. So you got mRNA, CCL, watch this 15, set an alert here. Hot stocks are short. This APLS has news out. We can trade that. Rocket Labs. Dude, what a name, right? Oh, man, it's getting nasty. RKLB. Yeah, you can put Netflix on your list. AMC, short that on all bounces. Look at this. Amazon get dusted. Guys, this is a no buenos, man. That's Spanish for no good. You got to be careful here. Watch this Meta, right? It's opening up okay. Might be a short that against the 303, 304. Let it bust out. All right. Let's fucking do this, peoples. Let's do this. All right, let's do this. As always, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been fast. I think what we got to do is just wait out the open for a few minutes, and we're going to have some fun today. Hey, yesterday wasn't so bad. There's still plays out there, but just remember what I said, they're all 50-cent setups.